Welcome to the Protector Culture Podcast with Jimmy Graham. Jimmy is a veteran U.S. Navy SEAL, a former protective officer for the CIA Global Response Staff, founder and CEO of the Able Shepherd Program, a husband and father of 4, and a personal friend of mine. Now here's Jimmy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Protector Culture Podcast with Jimmy Graham. I'm your host, Jimmy Graham, and this is BK. What's up, brother?
How are you doing?
Man, I haven't seen you in a minute. It seems like it's been
a month.
Has it been a month? Well, man,
July and
it
August.
feels like a month. And we move quick, so a month, that's a lot of, it's kind of like it's not the time, it's the miles, right?
It's the miles, yeah, sure.
So we've covered some mileage. Let's start off with gratitude. What are you thankful for? Because I just heard something about your bed, right?
Yeah, it'll be nice to be in my own bed, but I'm trying to figure out the words to make this make sense. But I have poured some love into the son and the wife, and it comes back as a waterfall.
Yeah.
Like,
That's good.
ooh, I was coming up short of the runway. So very thankful for understanding that dynamic and how important a little bit is every day, not a bunch, one day a month. So yeah.
Wait, explain that. Tell me that again, because I didn't understand it. So you're saying you poured some in and it comes back more?
Yeah.
What does it mean by you're saying you invest a little bit and it came back tenfold?
You know, Alex is off in the Marine Corps, and that creates distance and time and separation, and hanging out with him and going to dinner and having a cold beer and re-engaging. We're not on BDRs together, right?
Right.
His life is different. He's in the military.
Yeah.
It's real,
Yeah.
the job he does. So the wife has been interesting career change, which she was not planning for. Her uncle passed away since I've last seen you. Family drama, anytime somebody leaves us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So being there for her in terms of available, emotionally, physically, and then serving. What do you need? What can I do for you? And now you're anticipating what their needs are. And you see something come over their face where they're like, you're back. Welcome home.
Heck yeah.
So, it's just good to realize, I hate to make it sound selfish, but that you're needed, and that when you show up and you're present, it really makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Not like a prosperity gospel to where you give to get, but like we've said, when you honor someone, when you honor anyone twice, that comes back on you, right? Yeah. And you didn't do it for that. You just did it to honor him, and now you're like, this is what that feels like, Yeah. And it's cool in the gift of, how's he doing, man? I miss him.
He's good. He's almost done with his enlistment. So that'd be 4 years.
Yeah.
Blink of an eye.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's next? Is he staying? Is he?
He is, I call it injured reserve playing sports. But he broke his leg on a hike.
Remember that.
And then I think that threw his back and his hips out. And yesterday he had a procedure on his back, which something with the nerves, and I think cauterizing to try and alleviate some of the pain. And with the Marine Corps, as I understand it, there's a series of check marks you have to go through to get evaluated, get treatment, get healthy. So he's going through that process.
Yep. Document that stuff, man.
Yeah.
It took 20 years. It took 20 years. Since I've last seen you, I had my first VA appointment. And I'm not kidding. 20 years, and it's the craziest story. And if you're with the VA and you're like, we're doing way better, I don't know. I'm still got a little bit of heartburn there. I appreciate what's been done because I've heard good things are happening. I haven't seen them. Scratch that, I have. There was a lady named Vicky, and I went and met with her. Victoria's a real name. She introduced herself as Vicky from Africa. Amazing. Like, I was expecting the same garbage I've been dealing with for 20 years, and all of a sudden, A leads to B leads to C, Danny Cook takes me in. I'm like, watch this. I'm telling you, Satan's going to show up, and he did. And it was just this crazy thing where now I'm talking to this dude at the VA, and I'm like, brother, watch your language. There's a young man here. What's wrong with you? And the dude's following us out in the parking lot. You know the story. And I think that dude went in and just fixed a bunch of stuff because he was embarrassed because he ran his mouth and in front of a kid, and I tightened him up. And he went back in and just started he'd looked up years that they were missing me being in the military, which is embarrassing.
You
Like,
weren't in the Navy.
you sent me to different countries and you don't even know I was working for you right near the government. Anyways, that all got sorted. So I went to my very first VA appointment. This woman was amazing and bent over backwards. I'm like, is there other people? She's just devoting that much time to me. So that was pretty cool. And now we're at least on that track.
Good.
So document, 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 document. SEALs have a thing. A lot of guys, if they didn't get injured, they're like, I'm good, give it to another dude. I don't need any money, I'm just good. And then when you're 50, 60 years old, things start breaking because I've been harder on my body than most, and it catches up. And now I'm learning that. Yeah, so I told the lady, and she was very honest. I was like, man, I've just beat myself up, and I just prayed and healed. So I was like, I just prayed a bunch, and God took care of me, and I healed. So I'm like, I don't need anything. And she's like, we'll see. Anyways, so that's...
Thinking of my healthcare experience, and I've not gone down in a chopper, and I've not had a grenade embed my jacket in my shoulder blades.
Yeah, you know.
I can see where you need some of those
stuff.
services.
But the way I feel, and I think the most guys that I know, man, if I'm walking around, I'm doing it, I still got my appendages and my buddies don't, give them the money, you know? And I get it. I'm starting to learn all this stuff. And if you're with the DAV, call me. I got an appointment. I'm trying to get on with them because I know that they can get on there and right size some things. Just when you say Navy SEAL, they're like, we know you. You're automatically here. I haven't had that conversation yet, so we'll see how that goes. But that's good, man. It's good to hear about Alex. Good to hear about Jenny. I would say the gratitude piece with me, man. You know, we just finished ITB number 2, so Intro to Backcountry. Started with BDRs, Backcountry Discovery Route. Check it out, ridebdr.com. Blow your mind. These adventures that are at your fingertips because other people did the work and they did it for you, and they're amazing. I think a dozen states, if I'm not mistaken, 11 or 12 states. South to north, just doing a route. They've done all the work. So all you got to do is show up and do it, right? And just have this adventure of your lifetime. We've done many, but then we started doing them with the kiddos. Started bringing Christian. Now the dads were like, can I bring my son? Now we do ITBs, Intro to Backcountry, not piggybacking, but heading that direction for getting them ready for BDRs. It's a separate thing. Intro to Backcountry says, this one was 5 days, 4 nights, Alpine Loop.
Alpine Loop.
Oh my goodness. Did you know that's totally illegal, by the way? So we might as well air it out, right? We totally got busted. We didn't do, so when you go on there, and this is just something that we didn't know, so I'll just be honest about it. We looked into it, and Everett did a bunch of research and all that, and he specifically reads with another rider. Like if you're with a licensed rider, like Kid with Dad, he's got the sticker, we're good to go, right? Pertaining to BLM land. So you're riding on BLM land, that's federal.
Yes.
Then there's state, there's county, and then there's a jurisdiction for the town. So you got to look at all of that and add it up. So if you're looking on a site and you say Alpine Loop, cool, and you look at the rules, you're not done yet. Now go to another website, now go to another. And they were sitting there, like they literally had 2 officers at one point. One is with San Juan County and one is with BLM. They're arguing back and forth and talking about what they could do to improve their websites.
And in general, this is Telluride, Ouray, Lake City, South Central
Lake
Colorado.
City, right? So Lake City's where we're based out of and kicked out of there with a bunch of littles. And if you've got a sticker, if you're on a trail, this is what I understand on this day. If you're on a trail and you've got the sticker that you paid for, you know, and then that covers you for the BLM, and as long as I've got a driver's license and he's with me, we're good. But it happens to be on a county road.
Oh, wow.
Now that it's a county road, you're on a different set of rules, and that says licensed rider. Here's the problem. We're on the opposite side of the loop when we learn this, right? So the BLM guy is they're both super cool. So like the guy out there, the officer or whatever, we always want to be on the right side of right. We just weren't, right? We didn't mean to be, but now here we are. And one of the questions that came up from both Everett and myself is like, where does that put us right now? Because we're on the opposite side of the loop. We got 2 days of riding. And we're on this side, and you're saying it's illegal. Well, technically, we could say go get a trailer. Well, that might kill somebody because we're not in Trailerville. You know what I mean? No. So he was like, I'm going to get somebody in trouble. They probably don't care. When the camera's on, it's like, rah, 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 broke the law, writes you a citation. I'm like, I'll take it. You know what? You sure you don't want to throw somebody else under the bus? He said this. Unless you want to throw somebody else under the bus. Brother, you don't know me. Yeah. We don't do that. Yeah. What are you talking about? Write the thing, you know? So he writes it, then the camera comes off. This is awesome what you're doing with these kids, man. This is, well, where do we go? There's a lake over here, you can go to there. So you're saying keep doing the ride, just keep going. We're illegal, but keep going? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Now, if another officer, I can't speak for them, if they tighten you up, cool, man, I'll roll those dice because we got to get home. We just don't have a choice here. We're already out here, so I guess we're heading to the lake. You know what I mean? So it's just...
Maybe there's that thing where you can't be prosecuted for the same crime twice.
Yeah, is there double jeopardy here? Because I got to get home, right? And I got all these kids with me. But in the Alpine, if you haven't done the Alpine Loop, if you got a Jeep or a pickup even, right? Because I did support in the Tundra.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's a leveling kit, but it's not yoked up, right? It's got a little bit. I think it's got, 3 in the front, 1 in the back, something like that. So, and, it's a little bit plussed up tires, but not a lot of work to it. No problem. You've done that. And it is gorgeous. If you live in Colorado and you haven't done it, you're wrong, right? So just go do it. You could do it in a day if you got after it. I wouldn't. What we did is took 5 days, camped, and spent a lot of time in the water, in the rivers, in the lakes, riding slower and probably not very far in comparison to the other ones. Probably the shortest distances. Good days riding, but I mean, you're on the edge of cliffs. Yeah. And you're doing some just...
And these are 14,000-foot mountains.
Yeah,
it's not a
and these
tumble.
are 10-year-old kids, like my son's 10.
Did you have that loose shale? That's
all of it, right? And at some point, Krista was there, new rider, second real ride, kills it, but now she's like, oh, I should be doing better. Hey, stop. You're doing amazing. But at one point, there's this line to where it's like, she's done, jump in my truck, I'll jump on the motorcycle, right? And then I jump on the motorcycle and I'm riding, and you're not hurting my feelings if you're going to put me on a motorcycle, because I'm over here like, look at them, I'm over there the water guy, you're the support guy, and I love it. I love being the support guy. You're the water, you got the fire pit, you got the cooler with the beers and the steaks and all this other stuff. You're doing all this, and then I'm like, hey, do you want to drive the truck? I was like, how about you jump in? How about we switch? Because if I ask her, it's probably no, I can do it. Drive my truck. Now we switch, and now I'm like, oh, and now I'm zipping around. The problem is we have a flat, like a pretty serious flat, right?
Oh, no.
And now it's got a flat tire. We patch it. It goes for a while, but then it's just done. Like the tire, when we pull the tire out on the bike, front tire is done. And there's not another one. And we tried patch. It's so banged up that we don't have enough patches to patch this tire, right? So I'm like, I'll ride it flat. And now it's like, if you've ever done that, it's just splashy, and if it hits a rock, it'll slide. And it's just not the best idea, but we don't really have a choice. Last day, we just got to make it, so I'll just take it easy. We know we're going to sacrifice probably a tire. We didn't end up needing to. The tire held, but it's flat. Anyways, and then I look up and I see my nephews, and I'm not mad at you guys. If you guys are watching this, I just had to tighten them up because somebody's got to set the rules, right? When you've got a couple athletes, and they're a little bit older, they're superstars on this trip because the other kids are watching them. And they're gifted. They just grew up on motorcycles, so they're good. So when when I look up and I see my nephew going towards a cliff, turn, pop the clutch to throw rocks down the canyon, and his brother tries to one-up him, so he's standing on his seat.
Oh no!
And I'm like, somebody's gonna die. You start seeing the little ones behind him start getting squirrely.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I can do that.
And Everett doesn't see it because he's the lead. So now I got to pin it with a flat tire to get up ahead of them, to tell them to pull over, and then we go have the big boy talk. You know what I mean? It's like, hey guys, if we're in a field in Kansas, get after it, and if you want to teach them some stuff, but if you mess this up, I pulled them over and I go, guys with me, Lance Liam with me, and I go, see that cliff? What happens if my son goes down that cliff? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Won't happen again, sir. And then it's a done deal. It's just a done deal, but I got to be the bumpers, right? Because I'm in charge of them, right? And one's 18 and maybe 19, and the other one's 15, and I'm in charge of them, and it's like, this stops right now. And they did, and it's cool. But just excitement, man. That's the name of the game when you go on these is you get what you get, right? Yeah. You set the boundaries. Somebody tests the boundary. You got to push them back over here, and then you're good, and it's the best time ever. And everybody came back better, and that was always the goal.
With a smile on their face.
With a smile on their face and better. So that's, as far as gratitude, man, I mean, we haven't even got into that. It's just amazing, setting that air of, I can't believe we don't got to do this, we get to do this, right? And I just got to do that for 5 days and talk to my son every day through a comms unit all day. Good stuff. So that was ITB 2, 2024. We had our first Sunday meeting, and Jordan and Josh, appreciate you guys. They talked about this of making a staple, and I would challenge folks to entertain this if you still got young ones in the house, of a Sunday meeting. Just saying, hey, this is what we do on Sundays. We go to church, then we maybe go to lunch either out or at the house, but after church, you're at my house, right? You're not planning this, you're not planning that. We're here, and then we're going to go over your schedules, get your schedules out, because now we're in this season where it's relatively new. It's been this a couple of years, but we've got volleyball for Becca, we got dance for Sarah, we got football for Christian, we got, these things are coming up, and they'll take you right out of this house, right? But not on Sunday. right? So on Sunday we're here. So let's get those calendars out. And I've missed dance recitals on Thursday because I found out about them on Wednesday, right? So if we bust this out and say your lives are important to me, let's make a family calendar on this thing, right? Let's add it to my calendar. Let's share that with the chief of staff. So when Melissa looks at it and goes, that's a big deal. You're going to do that. Work works around that, right? We call them green pin dates. Green pin dates around here. Green pin dates just mean family. This is devoted to family. I now calculate my green pin dates. And the goal is to have more this year than last year. And we've been doing pretty good. And it kind of hurts as an entrepreneur, you feel guilty. Do it, right? Because what I'm finding, and I don't know how many times I've learned this lesson, we can't afford it. As if I'm the one running this show. And then you say, we're going to do it anyway. And then it turns out that last month was one of the best months. You know what I mean? It's like, now I look at the books and go like, are we eking by? No, we're actually better than we've ever been. And I'm like, never mind. But wait a minute, how'd that happen? Because I wasn't here. No, because you left, actually. It's like, now people get to do this. We're filling in the spouts. I trust my team. Now I get to leave. Now we come back refreshed, all this stuff, and now everything's better. And you're like, wait a minute. So you're saying, are you telling me that if I go out and do this thing you call me to do, and it's not slaving away in here, you're actually going to bless it more? That's what I've told you the whole time. Got it. Roger that. Or at least starting to get it. I don't got it. I'm starting to get it at 50 years old. So there's that. So committing to that family and sitting down and saying at family time, this is what we're going to do. Let's do this calendar. Let's talk about this. What do you got coming up? You know, what is that important to you? Yeah, then I will be there. You know, that kind of thing. It's just a big deal because, you know, heard this with money. Tell your money where to go, or you'll wonder where it's went. Well, time is money, just more valuable. So tell your time where to go, or you'll wonder where it's went. And I've heard that from too many guys, senior to me, that have already been parents, that have already been grandpas, that have already been that, and I listen, right? Because I see it in their eyes, and I read people well, and it hurts. And I can take that and make me better, and then it honors them in both ways, right? So cool, I'm down. Dad's orientation last night, meaning this, I'm going to be a chaplain this school year for Summit Christian Academy. And they said, will you do a dad's orientation? Absolutely. So what blows me away, though, is that it's hard to get 10 dudes in a room, period. There were 40 dudes in the room that were dads of this Summit Christian Academy, which is like a homeschool, I guess, what is it, enrichment program, 2 to 3 days a week. And you just make sure your kids do the homework. They go in, they have an actual school event, and all that stuff. Very affordable. And I wasn't expecting 40 dudes. And I wasn't expecting 40 dudes that are on fire. And I wasn't expecting, they were like, what's your info? Because I'm in. And I was like, this just got real. And I'll talk about some of the other things, but that was an amazing thing to where I just said, this is me, a couple slideshows. I'm committed to be the chaplain, which just means, this is funny because this is how the conversation goes. Jimmy, will you be the chaplain? This is Rochelle McKim, and she's awesome, and she's just a servant, a leader for this school. Will you be the chaplain this year? What does that mean? Will you run chapel? What does that mean? You're a good man and you're a Christian man. Would you pour into these kids for 30 minutes on Thursdays? Yeah. Absolutely. Right? Because I've been praying about this, and all our math comes up with invest in kids. Right? Get healthy, invest in kids. And then she asks, will you invest in kids? How can you say no to that? Right? So the answer is yes. And then you meet all these amazing dads that you didn't know before, and they're on fire and they want to get after it. Okay, let's go.
Here we go.
Right? The Fed modules classes today, there were 2 simultaneously, me at Brave Academy, and then Parker at a Catholic school. There's been more Catholic schools. Abel Shepherd is now the authority in Colorado. I'll say the nation, and I'll take the Pepsi challenge all day long, but in the nation about what does that mean? How do we protect children's preschool year? How do we go in, put all the pieces, and this isn't me building it, the community has built this, but we have had a leadership role in this. What can you do to protect your kids in your care at a school this year? That's what we're doing and filling our days with as we're approaching school starting here in a couple weeks. So what do you do with that? So then when you go looking up, and this is kind of that format that we talk about, looking back, looking up, looking forward, looking up. And this isn't a verse today, because I was like kind of praying about it and I was searching for verses. It wasn't a verse, it was actually from a movie. You'd know the movie, it's called Braveheart. Unite the Clans. It's time to unite the clans. And what I mean by that, there's so many organizations, and I've met literally 5 this week, of people that are hungry, they want to do something, but they haven't figured out how to unite, right? So it's not everybody on Sunday says not a church, it's the church, and then they focus on their church, right? Wait a minute, you said it's the church, right? I know we say that, but what we really meant was we're going to say that we represent the church. Cool, then let's go to their thing. Well, no, let's invite them to ours. So all that stuff, right? It's like everybody should be on the same plan as long as it's mine. So we've been working with our church to take a leadership role and just do that. Not say it, do it, right? And that's not me, it's many guys that have gotten together and say, man, we're going to talk about it, we're going to do it, right? And it is a struggle because they just don't seem to be comfortable in that space, right? So, and it's not just our church, it's many churches where it's like, I get what you're saying, let's go do it. And then it doesn't leave the walls.
I feel like I've heard that story before about let's meet on Denny's, right? Next month. We'll talk about it next
month.
Bread.
Panera bread. Yeah, we don't have a shortage of Panera bread. I'll tell you what, let's talk about it next month at Panera bread. I'm like, brother, I don't need any more Panera bread. You know what I need? I need to get after it, right? So this calling in my heart isn't for a lack of bread. It is for, I just would go to these events like month after month, and it was a 1 month thing. There was always Panera bread, and we talked. I'm like, what are we doing between Panera bread, right? What are we going to do? So I know that there's many, many people that are chomping at the bit to go do something, including these 40 dudes I met last night. But then today, more people. And yesterday and 2 days ago, there's all these people, including Pennsylvania, that I'm heading out there. But how do you do it, right? So how do you unite the clans? How do you get Christian men, women you're invited, but I'm focusing on Christian men, to stand in one room, right? So if I say, there's a thing going on, and these are good people, it's a pro-life thing, and I know the people personally, and they're saving lives, but they need 100 men. And I'll be standing there and you're invited. And then 100 dudes show up, right? And then there's a drag show over here, and they're totally out of bounds by anybody's measure, and I'm gonna be there, and there's 70 dudes show up. And then we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna do a fundraiser to get money back in the coffers to go protect schools. And then 200 men show up, right? That, I could care less what church you go to, right? Now, I do care if you're out worshiping the devil, please don't come, right? Or if you wanna find Jesus, then come find me. But we're not doing that, right? We're not talking about, hey, let's affiliate with evil. I'm not talking about that, not even a little bit. I'm just saying, united in the essentials, what is it? Unity in the essentials, liberty in the non-essentials, love in all things, right? It means, do you believe in Jesus Christ and he's the only way to heaven? Yeah, then we got work to do, right? So that's the deal. So when I say unite the clans, now let's talk about look forward. How? How do we do it? Well, here's a plan. It's not the plan, it's Jimmy's plan. Thursday, Seth Gruber is coming to Brave Church. Seth Gruber made a movie with Jack Hibbs, which is an amazing man of faith, one of my spiritual leaders. Don't know him personally, but I will one day. I just feel that. Jack Hibbs, Eric Metaxas, and Seth Gruber, and others, and I apologize because I can't think of their names right now. They did a movie called The 1916 Project about whatever. I'm not going to say a bunch of stuff about it because you should go check it out, and I don't want to get it wrong. But talking about the linchpin of killing babies, murdering babies on this liberal woke agenda, and once that pin comes out, it all falls apart, right? So just focusing on truth with grace. Every Christian church that I know and respect, they're going to make sure that there's an understood thing about grace. Like if you've made the decision, I understand it. I've got so many friends. I have come that close. All this other stuff, right, that almost made that decision. So there's tons of grace there. So that not being one of those forces over somebody, keeping them down, it's not. It's like leave that at the feet of Christ and lift them out of that, and let's just go save babies. Just because maybe you made that decision and you're forgiven, and let's go make sure it doesn't happen again. Yeah. Not like join me in my sin, right? We're not doing that. That's just not happening. So that's a big deal. That happens on August 15th at Brave. This will air probably after that, so whatever, but it just means, I know Seth personally just because I met him. I don't know him well, we don't hang out and stuff, but we do stay in touch. We text back and forth. I'm tracking on what he's doing, he's tracking on what I'm doing, and he'll be there. And I've invited, I don't know how many people, anybody from any church. I hope they're there because I've been sending it out. And it's not, hey, come and maybe you'll come to Brave. I don't care where you go to church. I truly don't, as long as you're going to a Christ-centered church. But if you're in the neighborhood, I'd like to know who you are. I'd like to start what I'm calling C4, Colorado Christian Community Corkboard. Corkboard means you pin it up and say, I'm going to be here and you're invited. And then you get to put on there, you know what, I'm doing a thing and it's legit and this is what it is. And if it is a good thing, how about I come and support you? How about 100 men come and support you? How about it's We the Women, that's a group down here. They do a thing and they look back and there's 50 strong men standing behind them. How about there's a thing going on, there's 200 dudes standing there. How is a fundraiser and everybody shows up and spends $20 and they raise $30,000? Whatever that ends up being, right? It just means unite the clans. Let's just go do it, right? That's what talking about it.
There's a communication aspect and, planning ahead. I know what's coming. I want to do this one. I want to do that one. So I like the idea behind it.
Yeah, much like the kids things, it's like if you tell me on Wednesday to show up at the thing on Thursday, the answer is no. It's got to be no, because I build out my schedule like 3 months out, right? Yeah. And I can move it and maneuver it and all that stuff a month out, but I can't do it a day out, right? In some cases. And if it's an important thing, I want to be there, but man, you just failed to let me know in any kind of reasonable time. So if we said, hey, 3 Thursdays from now, we're going to go to the Capitol, we're going to do a thing. Right, when I showed up at that thing and they had written on the steps of the Capitol, Abel Shepherd is terrorist, I'm like, we just made the list, right? We were already on the list, we knew that, but at least they know who to hate, right? It's Mike, my name made the list, whatever. But it's like, I would love to be there to support you, I simply can't. But now because you let me know a month out, I might even be able to bring 100 buddies with me, right? So that's a powerful thing because I know that does move the needle. I've talked to politicians and we say, does this make a difference? You bet it does. Because it's hard, they know it's hard to get 10 dudes in a room. And you showed up with 100, you got our attention, man. What do you got going on, right? So that's a big deal. Chaplain SCA, so Summit Christian Academy. I'm getting excited about this. So like on Thursday mornings, I get to meet with a bunch of young people, and that school's on fire too. It's growing, very affordable, homeschool, enrichment program, and I haven't met them yet, but when I meet these young people, I get to start with gratitude just like we did tonight, look up with a message that's gonna be a verse and a devotion, say what I saw out of that, ask them what they saw out of that, then remind them of who they are in Jesus Christ every single week, and pray with them and pray for them and challenge them. Hey, by the time I see you next week, I'm going to challenge you to do X, right? And then just keep doing that, plant that seed. They say it's ours to plant, it's his to grow, but I get that honor, right? To work with these amazing people like Rochelle McKim, right? And that starts on August 29th. And then Ignition on September 17th. I'm starting a class. I was talking to the folks at Brave, and they're starting cadres, and one of them called Ignition. How do we ignite the men of Colorado into their passion? So every Tuesday at 6:30 at Brave Church Inglewood, we're going to meet and we're going to talk about that. I've got a written curriculum that we're going to start doing that, but the whole thing through the whole 3-month process is what you're calling. Right? Let's find that. Let's spend some time talking about that. Let's give some tools to be successful. How do you talk to men? How do you pursue Christ? How do you live out this thing and not just talk about it? And then, anytime in that or at the end of it, it's going to be, we've identified the thing that God's calling you to do. Now do it, and I'm here to support you, right? I'm going this way, you're invited. You're going that way, invite me, and I'll come support you.
Tuesday nights,
yes,
6:30
yes.
p.m.
Yes.
Is there any pre-registration, or do you need to notify somebody to?
There's a registration. It's not yet on there, but it's going to be. So Brave Church does a communal prayer called First Tuesdays, right? So on the first Tuesdays, we meet at 6 o'clock in the lobby, pray together, and then walk into the communal prayer like a friggin' army and just get after it. Because I just go and I say, God, give me someone to pray with. And I walk up and say, can I pray with you? And I do it all the time. Now it might be 50 dudes. Now it might be 100 dudes on the first Tuesday. Every other Tuesday, you're with me. Nice. And we're talking more of like it is a structured format, but it's not super formal. It's like, we're going to go through this, and I've got a topic every night that's going to unlock that dude in you, right? And now it's like, let's go, let's get after it, let's do this, right? With encouragement, with support, with unity. It's like, I'll go with you. That's my calling too, let's go. Maybe we start something, maybe we support something. There's already a leader here, plug me into that guy. What do you need from me? That's how you get the ball moving, right? So that's what we're going to be doing every Tuesday starting on September 17th, leading just stopping shy of Christmas, right? And then C4, I talked about that. We're looking for that we tried it a couple times and we just switched it, so I can't announce it yet. But what is going to be the app kind of thing with notifications where we don't bug you, but you are going to get a ping because you asked for it, stand here. Stand here, stand here. And if you got 25 of these and you never came, well, you got a new problem.
Yep.
Deal, right? It's like, it's just the deal. It's just the deal, right? Somebody should do something. You're up. You're up. Time to go, right? So somebody should do a thing. There's plenty of people doing plenty of things. You're just shake it fist guy, right? So just get after it. Time to go.
I like how these, in my opinion, are building. So if you're igniting, you're finding that passion, you're identifying your calling, and then now there's a call to action.
Yeah.
There's a place you can invest this effort, this energy.
Yeah.
It just...
And I leave on Friday, right? So we've got Thursday is Seth Gruber. Looking forward to that. I'm getting as many of the guys as I can. I personally invited many people to do that and just get that other seed going for some of these people. It is their front. If this is a battle, I'll call them fronts. Which front is yours? Which one are you being called to? Northern, Eastern, Southern, whatever. Is it pro-life? Cool. Well, you just found a leader named Seth Gruber, get after it, right? Is it over here? Is it over here? So you get to pick out where that is, but then launch. So it can't be, we call it, like, again, I think I mentioned this podcast, a failure to fire. If a gun has a failure to fire, hand me a new gun. I'm not gonna mess with it and find out what's broken. If a dude has a failure to fire, give me a new dude. Like, that's the way the SEAL teams was. It was like, hey man, if you're failure to fire, we got a problem, man, so work on you. But those leaders need soldiers, right? So are you a soldier, you're a leader? I don't know, let's figure it out, right? But I know there's a war going on and you're on the sidelines. See, that's not cool. So, and then I leave Friday after Seth Gruber, I leave on Friday for Pennsylvania for the 242, that's Acts 242. So the 242 men's group, it's a men's retreat. It'll be a couple hundred guys out of Pennsylvania. Pastor Frank Short, my brother, he's an awesome guy. He comes here, I go there. He brings me out. But even when he's here, he'll be in this building, and I'll probably go meet him at Glen Erie or wherever he's at. But he's just done this for years and years and years. He's exactly the guy we're talking about. He's like, I'm going, you're invited. He brings packs of dudes, 25, 50, whatever it is. They get on a plane, come to Colorado, and he just pours into them and loves on them, right? So he's having me go out and be one of the keynote speakers at his event. And he tasks me with devotion to family. So I prayed about it, and what came out in prayer was women and children first. Yeah. Right? And I'll follow up because I sent a curriculum. I'm going to talk about it, but God's going to lead me right up to that day. But here's the gist of it. If you're thinking nautical terms, if you're thinking Titanic, if you're thinking even before that there was a ship where there were only so many lifeboats and people were going to die, then to the lifeboats was women and children first. It was save the women and children first. So that was an honorable thing. That led me to a song by Ashley. Think about that. Anyways, McBride. I'll find it. Anyways, called Bible in a 44, and it goes through and lists her singing about her father, right? About what kind of man he was, and one of the lines is, "Last one off if the ship went down." Kind of man it feels good to be around. It's just a safe protector that she grew up with, that it's kind of a dying breed kind of thing. Yep. My question is, why is it a dying breed? Every man should aspire to be that. Yeah. That it's women and children first, because I would lay down my life for you. Not because you're my women and then my wife and my kids, because you're a woman and a child, right? And you deserve to live. And that is that chivalrous thing that is a good thing. And I'll finish the talk, and this won't air before that, so I won't spoil it, but I'll finish the talk with what I'm seeing when I look around. Not in everybody, but in many, it looks like this: women and children first. Like, if you're attacking this nation, please take the women and children first. Like, erase women. There shouldn't be competition. The beauty that is inherent to a woman and only a woman, men are stealing it. We just saw the biggest drag show in this nation, in the world, just aired on the Olympics. On the guise of Olympics, the largest drag show just aired for the world to see, right? So we're saying, take the beauty that belongs to women, take women. Women shouldn't even exist. While you're at it, go ahead and kill my kids. Like, these, the future of our nation. Let's abort these babies. Let's kill kids. Let's lead them down a life that leads to suicide. It's out of control. But please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt my pocketbook or my pension, and please don't mess with my comfort. That disgusts me on a core level, right? So as for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord. We're not buying into that crap. Your lies don't live in me. And if more people said that, we would turn this thing on a dime. They're just not, right? So I think men need to be called out to a certain extent and say, and this is where it goes silent in the Bible, in the men's groups. What are you going to do about it? Wait, hold on a second. Pass the Panera bread. All of a sudden, you had a lot to say a minute ago when we're complaining about the world and all this other stuff and what should be done. But then when I said, what are you going to do about it, the room went quiet. What's going on there, right? So that's a big deal, and that's what I'm going to bring to these men in Pennsylvania, my brothers, and we're going to pray about it. We're going to talk about it. Oh, and I missed one of the biggest things. September 9 to 13, we've already got a full Men's Mission 002 what is a man? We got people coming from all over the country, including Navy SEAL buddies, including buddies that met me because they heard us on the Mike Glover podcast. We are now friends, but we've never met personally, and we meet when they show up to this men's retreat, and we pour into them for a week, including a 24-hour period where we hand them a pack that's got a tent, it's got a cot, it's got a sleeping bag, it's got all that, and we teach spiritual journaling and say, your father wants to speak to you. He said to meet him out there. We'll see you in 24 hours. And they're on a silent fast and they go talk to God for 24 hours, right? Everybody could use that. I mean, everybody. But we've carved out and they've devoted that time and invested in that time, and other people have invested financially to buy those packs, to buy those tents. Thank you to everybody that's ever been a part of this. This is the second one we're doing. The first one was life-changing, potentially life-saving. I have no doubt in my mind that the second one will be the exact same thing. So it's absolutely amazing. So that's what we got going on, and that's just basically last week and this month, right? So like I've said regularly, instead of saying what can one man do, start saying try to keep up, right, and get after it, because there's a war going on, and you can be a spectator or you can get into the action and venture that was designed to be your life. I'm loving it, brother. I just am. I'm like, this doesn't wear me out. This gives me energy. I am tired tonight because I've been teaching all day, and this is the end of the day. It's about 9 o'clock at night, but this gives me energy, and bring it. Just bring it. Bring us home, brother. I did all the talking. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Think about all this, man.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's energizing. I think men particularly need it.
Yeah.
They need to hear it. I think one thing I've heard over the years is, good times make soft men. We have a lot of Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah.
Poke me in the belly, I'll giggle. I'm not wishing anything. In your last podcast, you thought crazy times would come in October, November.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of it now.
Yeah.
Absolute crazy sauce. So it's time to stand up, stand out, be a man, and go stand for something. And just like on the ride, a little correction goes a long ways, right? I think the term you use is straighten somebody up or get them in line. We need that desperately. We have that here. It needs to grow. And I love what you're pouring into it.
We all need it. I need it. Like you guys know, if you're in my groups, you know, like we talk honestly, and I've got guys that speak into my life, and it wouldn't go anywhere except for I respect you, right? And I respect you. Like there's people that without credibility, your words don't weigh a whole lot, right? Yeah. If some dude that's a train wreck's like, Jimmy, you should tighten up, I'm like, that's hilarious. See ya, right? Yeah. But if somebody you respect goes, hey man, that's not the thing that you say you believe, then I hit the brakes, right? And I reassess, and I apply it to my life because that's what I'm supposed to do, right? And then I let my kids see it, because then they know that, hey man, I tell them, just a guy trying to make it from breakfast to dinner just like you, like everybody else. But I love you enough. I love you too much to let you act like that. And that was my nephews. It's like, I love you guys too much to let you act like that. By the way, the other kids are looking. And what do? They do what men do, and they say, won't happen again. Yes, sir. Won't happen again. And it didn't, right? So we can pretend it never happened and have nothing to work on, or we can say, okay, that I can see that might have been a bad example, and I'm going to fix it. And then do it, and now nobody did go off the cliff, right? So that's good stuff. All right, man. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on. I can't wait to fill you in on the updates from the things that are happening this week, because there's a lot. It's an honor to be a part of all of this stuff. Love you guys. God bless you. Each and every one of you, God bless you. Take care of one another. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again for another episode. Please be sure to follow us and support us on all of the social media. That's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. All of that starts by visiting ableshepherd.com.